Hello.
Hello, hello. Sorry for the delay, folks, but here we are for our first session of Healcast. Welcome. We're
Woo!
so excited to have you. I'm here tonight with my good friend Heather Smith, and I'm going to introduce her in a second. But first, I just wanted to say a few words about who I am and why I'm doing this. So, my name is Noelle Janka, and I am a yoga teacher and a life coach for people with chronic illness. And specifically, I support people in seeing new possibilities for their healing so that they can be more excited to be alive and do more of what they love. And I do that in a few different ways, one-on-one coaching, group coaching, workshops. And I've just been talking to a lot of people lately about how we heal. And so that was part of the inspiration for this series. And additionally, I have a chronic illness myself, and I've become a lifelong student of healing. And I've just met so many amazing people that have helped me on my healing journey along the way. And for me, in my journey with Lyme disease and other tick-borne illness, I never got a lot of support from allopathic or conventional medicine. And it's mostly the holistic, complementary, and alternative medicine practitioners that have helped me the most. And I've learned that there's a lot of people that don't even know that much about what's out there. So I just wanted to create Healcast to give other people that are on healing journeys an opportunity to really connect with all the amazing healers that are out there and get a feel for what might be able to help them. And tonight I'm really excited to introduce you to my friend, an amazing energy healer, Heather Smith. She's helped me so much on my own healing journey and has helped countless other people as well. So hi, Heather.
Hi, it's so great to be here. Excuse me.
And hi to Emily and everybody else who's here joining us tonight. But Heather, I just want to start by asking you what is energy healing? How would you describe it to someone who's never heard of it before?
Sure. So, yeah, thanks for joining us, everyone. I go by Heather Mist or Heather Smith. You'll see my name different ways. And I do something what I call Akashic energy healing. And I'll probably tell you a little bit more about my story later on, like how I got into all this. But energy healing is essentially a way that we can remind ourselves, our body, our being, what's true. Because there's so many ideas that we have about how things work and who we are and what's true. But what healing is for me is it's a return to wholeness, a return to integrity, and a return to health. Because health is actually our natural state. That's actually what's true about us, is that we are already whole, and that we forget because of what happens and what we make it mean, and then what we kind of create for ourselves, the habits and the evidence that we create for ourselves out of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. And
Great.
Can you say a little bit more about the Akashic records and what those are?
Sure. I'd love to. So I'll tell you a little bit about my story just because it's kind of entertaining. Now my cat's eating my leg, which is also fun. So the Akashic records, I had no idea what the hell that was. But I went on a vision fast back in 2010. I sat on a rock for 3 days and I prayed for a teacher to show up. And while I was praying for this teacher, I had all sorts of incredible visions and incredible insights into myself and my life. And then I got home to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and this woman walked into my life and she started, I just was at an event. I was supposed to be a practitioner in an event doing something, and she said, "No, you're working with me tonight." And I had no idea what I was doing, but she just started guiding me and leading me. I didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't know if I believed in past lives or not. But she started showing me how to work in the Akashic records and how to work with my own intuition. And essentially, the Akashic records are this metaphor for us to understand how it is that we can live out different lifetimes, like different experiences, different ways of being in the world. Like, it's almost like we have to, in our soul, know what it's like to be a victim and know what it's like to be a perpetrator to find out what else there is. It's sort of, there's a way that we look at both sides of the coin before we realize that there's something else going on, that there's a middle path, that there's something that we can be that is other than the like roles we've been given or the ideas we've been given about how things work. I know it's sort of like the Akashic records are kind of like the Google search for your soul. Yeah, so you get to look and see what's really going on.
Google search for your soul. Love it.
Yeah.
And
long way to explain that.
Sorry, what was that?
That was the long way to explain that. Long answer.
It's good. I mean, I wouldn't know how to explain it. How does energy healing, specifically the Akashic records, how might that help someone who's sick or in pain?
Well, patterns, like energy patterns, like signatures, get stuck for people. We like maybe the one in my neck that my cat's trying to help me with. But really, we have patterns in our being, and they manifest physically. Like my sense is that I don't know, people who get, and it's not to, this is, okay, so I understand that the way I might say this might encourage people to think that I'm saying that it's someone's fault, right, for being sick, and that's not at all what I'm saying. I'm saying that the ways we've gotten wired, the ways we've been created by family, by DNA, by karma, by our past lives, creates our experience in this lifetime, the ways we think about things. And so it's not your fault, but it is at some point then your responsibility to do something with that.
Well, and sometimes certain people's experiences can make them more prone to being chronically ill or in pain than others. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. Like, I think my go-to is always like some kind of like emotional, cuckoo, moody stuff. And some people's go-to like, sort of hiding places is getting sick, like bringing that in order to not have to face how incredible we are. And so when we have a habit of looking at what is not working and trying to fix ourselves, even though there's nothing wrong, we end up pulling in patterns and energies that lead us to being more likely to get sick or more likely to having some kind of chronic mental health situation. Mm-hmm. Because it's like an opening for weird juju to come in when we have these habits of thinking and we're not totally in our bodies and not totally behind ourselves. Like we're not really listening to what's true about us.
Yeah. I remember the first time that you introduced me to this idea, I got sort of really upset and sort of like, I don't make myself sick. But then I sort of settled into it and saw just how true it was, even in small ways. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, my joy. And I get that it's like not an easy thing to sit with if you are like chronically ill, like, or you are really depressed, there's some usefulness, at some point it's useful to think like, okay, this isn't my fault and I didn't create this. And then I think the next level is to start to take responsibility for it anyway, because who else is going to, really?
Yeah. Yeah, or like one way I think about it is it's not necessarily my fault that I have Lyme disease bacteria in my body, but I do have a certain amount of control about how I take care of my body that affects the expression of that bacteria in my body.
Totally. Yeah.
Great. And so, when you're working with people and moving energy around, like what's actually happening in the body when that's what's happening?
Well, is there anyone on the call right now who'd like to experience a little healing, who has something that they'd like to receive healing for? Because, I can talk about this stuff all day long, and it's kind of like, okay, that's nice. But at some point, it's really great to actually get someone, just work with someone one-on-one, or, even the whole group, and start to just explain what it is that I'm doing. Because I'm working on the group right now, and I'm doing very little, which is usually a good sign that something's really going on. So I don't know if there's anyone who wants to sort of chat in and say, I've got a headache today, or I'm having a flare up of something, or I'm sad, or just want a little extra love to this part of my body or this part of my life, like your finances or your social life or anything like that. It would be great to just hear from someone, or all of you, if you're willing to chat in, like, hey, I got this going on and I'd love some support with it.
Yeah, anyone who's interested, just anyone who's watching, feel free to comment on the video and we'll be able to see it, and Heather will be able to respond.
And what I'm getting, I guess, for the whole group right now is just that there's fear, and really like ooh, hi, Emily, what's going on with you? Tell me more. So I'm going to keep working on this. There's a pattern of fear that I'm feeling in the group, just this kind of like nerve pain in lower back and leg. Cool.
There's 2 different Emilys, just wanted to point that out.
Oh, so they each responded?
Yes.
That's great. But let's start with the nerve pain, because that's very focused. But this is also, for everyone, because one, we're all healing each other, that it's not like isolated, or, if I work on someone in the room with all of us here, it's going to affect all of us. And so just opening to receive, but also opening, that's so funny, that the nerve pain is in the same place. How interesting. It's like we're all meant to be here today. Yeah, so I'm just kind of holding, like I have my hand out, just so you all know, and I'm in my heart space. So you know what I'm doing, and I've opened the Akashic record of this group before we got on the call. And right, so then I'm just sort of holding this pattern of energy, this like nerve pain. Got it. And just seeing what happens as I hold it. And one of the main keys is that right now I'm like not attached to anything in particular happening. Like I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know if what I say is going to actually make like any difference for anyone, and that's okay. So part of the work really is about just playing and not taking ourselves so damn seriously, because we tend to in this healing work. It's very important healing work. Yeah. So yeah, nice. So I just feel like a little bit of opening, but also like sort of some of that like in a deeper way, almost just like a deep need in the room to be seen. And so if I invite those of you who are here with us to kind of open your system, to invite in this energy of being seen. And that there's like a little kid inside, probably like 5 or 6, who's saying like, ah, it's scary out there in the world. And then just seeing that yourself, like seeing that little one inside who's a little nervous and a little worried about what could it mean to be seen. Good. And breathing. Gently. And it just feels too like really inviting in the earth right now, up through your feet to support you and hold you. Like that you don't have to hold all that you experience and all that you live alone, that it's okay to be helped. Just letting that earth energy up through your legs and your knees. And then letting the earth energy kind of hold those pain areas for you. And that pain might increase a little bit, like, so breathe through it and see if you can kind of relax and let whatever might be going on go on at the same time. Keep breathing. It's so easy to get tense, and then the tension actually stops the energy from moving and stops the support from coming in. And it's okay, like we're not really in control of we're not really in control anyway. You know, we don't really know what's going on a deeper level. That like, I can support people in this moment, but I don't have the whole of the greater picture, and none of us do. Like, we only have what's right here coming next for us to do, and that's okay. Good. Yeah, keep letting that energy coming up through right into your root there. Good. Yeah, so what are people noticing as this is happening? I'm just kind of curious what people are experiencing. It's still running, it just letting it do its thing, because really I don't need to do a whole lot to make all this happen. The less is more factor really is very true. Oh, good. That's funny. Good. Yeah, so I love that, like the synchronicity of like you notice something in your body, and then I get to put it out loud. And again, like it's like we're just playing, we're just seeing what happens. I'm kind of sending some clearing energy around to everyone right now, just to break up some old patterning, because we all hold on to things. We all hold on to habits or ways or experiences, ideas about ourselves. And you don't even need to know what's kind of clearing. Just notice if you get a little bit like something like a big tornado spinning around you, like, okay, that's just that energy coming in for a moment, and it will move on to the next person when it's done its thing for you. So what does the rest of Rachel's post say, Noelle? I can't read I can only see the first line.
Rachel says, I've been noticing themes over the past few months on being seen, cultivating a deep connection to the earth, trusting that I don't have to hold everything, that I'm not really in control. So beautiful. Thank you for this gift. 3 hearts.
Oh, so fun. Yeah, and I love how open this group is. Like, it seems like all of us are really just ready to play and ready to step into something much bigger, which is awesome. You know, there's so much to be said for willingness, being willing, if we're going to use coaching language. It's an inside joke between me and Noelle. And
it's about coaching training.
Yeah. But that's so much of it, because everyone in the room really just like let me in and let me support them, and is still letting me support you. Like, whoever's getting the tornado thing right now is like, oh yeah, let's let go of this. It's a lot. It's great. And it feels a lot more playful than ever before for you. Like, it feels like there's a lot more space for it to not have to be serious anymore. That yes, you might be sick and you might have a lot of shit that you can be pissed off about, but that you've sort of seen probably where that takes you. You've like you're like, check, I know that one. And that it's okay to have a different way, to try a different approach.
Thanks for sharing with the group, Heather.
Yeah, it's totally my joy. Does anyone have any questions? Noelle, anyone? Anything else we want to work on tonight? I'm just having a ball hanging out with you all and swimming in this energy. It's very, very sweet.
I definitely have more questions, but would love to hear from other folks first if they have other questions or things they want some support on tonight.
And if you're just joining us, I'm doing energy healing, Akashic energy healing for the group of people who's gathered tonight. This is our lovely host, Noelle Janka. And here comes my landlord. I'm just going to close the door. He's not allowed.
Well, I guess, Heather, I'd love to know, can you say a little bit about, other than us folks with chronic illness, like what are your clients like and what kinds of things do you support them with?
My clients kind of are a varied bunch. I have people who have chronic illness. I've got people who are building businesses in the healing arts. I've got people who are, can you hold on just one moment? I'm sorry, I've got to say hi to Meyer.
Yeah, I'll take over. I can explain, Heather, right before we got on the call, we were a little bit late is because she was having an issue with her hot water. And all right, we're back.
I'm back. I apologize.
Great. So yeah, you were talking about your clients.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I work with a lot of people who have some mental health stuff going on, who want to, do things the sort of natural way, who don't necessarily want to, I work with people who take medications, but also a lot of my clients are people who know that they have mental health issues, but are wanting to do it, to work through them using, their heart and their mind and how to collaborate together with their body and understand how the whole system is wired and how to change it. Mm-hmm. Because it's totally possible, and it's been my work over the past 10 years or so. It's really like healing from a whole bunch of things that I could have been diagnosed with, but a couple of mental health diagnoses that actually did stick. And I don't feel like I'm diagnosable in any of those things, even though those patterns will still come up occasionally. But like, you know, hi, and I say, oh, thank you. Good to know. Maybe I get a little extra help right now, a little extra support.
Awesome. Very interesting. So how might somebody, in our community, in the chronic illness community, know it's a good time to seek out your support or the support of an energy healer?
That's a great question. I would say always find an energy healer. Like I would always have one on retainer, as it were. I just don't. I think that there's no, or like make some friends, because even as much as like coaching is incredible and allopathic medicine can be really helpful and naturopathy is really incredible. Like I think all these things together with some energy healing is really what's gonna create the true transformation. Mm-hmm. I don't think we can actually just have one support person. I think we actually need a village to raise, a child, and we're the child. We have that inner child that we need to support to become whole again, to like bring the innocence and the gift of that young self back into who we really are, which is what now enables us to play and it enables us to experience life in a totally new way.
Doesn't that sound nice?
It's awesome. So I would say, yeah, always have an energy healer around. And my clients are the people who really have a strong connection to their intuition and ask their gut, like, should I work with this person? And if your gut says yes, like, let's set up a time to get together and connect. I'm running a couple programs in May, so it might be a nice fit for you. You can private message me your email address and I'll be in touch, because why not, right? The first session is free, and I love to just see what there is for people in terms of where they are, where they want to go, and how I can be of service.
I'm going to go ahead and put your website in the comments too, so people can find you afterwards.
Yeah, so you can sign up there for a free session.
And I know you said like we should all have an energy healer on retainer. How long do you typically work with people? I mean, I'm sure sometimes it's a really long time, but just curious.
Yeah, I've had clients that I've had for years. There's been people who've been like kind of either consistent for years or in and out for years, and that's true. And then I've got people who I do 6 months with, and then they say, okay, that was awesome. I have everything I need to move forward. And then they, either find someone else or they use what we'd learned and they take it and they run with it. I find so much power comes from just trusting our gut in that. Just knowing if it's the time or the space, like when I need to invite this particular person in. Because, there's hundreds of energy, there's probably thousands or hundreds of thousands of energy healers out there. So how do you choose, right? And that's really the only way. I don't go with the person who has the best advertising or the fanciest website. I go with my gut. And it's always like led me toward so much transformation when I've trusted that gut of mine and just said, okay, this is it. This is what I need right now, today.
And since you have done so much personal healing, Heather, while we're on the topic, like what other things have really supported you along the way in your journey?
Oh, goodness. Where do I even start? So I started with the gateway drug of Reiki, which is what I call it, in terms of into this like energy healing, woo-woo, spiritual coaching world. Like that was my first stopping point, was learning Reiki. And Reiki is amazing. And really it was about having my Reiki teacher, I think at first, someone who could see me. I think that's the main important piece, is someone who isn't buying my bullshit ideas about who I am, who's saying, oh, actually, do you know about this? Do you see this in you? Do you recognize that like the light of God is already shining in you right now? Oh, right. Because it's so easy to forget and to think we're just these humans that have these problems and I have to feed the cat and, take the garbage out and all of that. But that's just sort of like, that's like the underlayer of like the truth of what's going on here. And so I think that's always been an important piece, is people who can see what's really true about me. And so then I've invited in a lot of different people in different roles. So I've had really incredible coaches. I think the coach training program that Noelle and I went through was probably one of the biggest transformative experiences of my life. I think having a coach is like just a huge transformation, and to see that relationship evolve too has been incredible to see, actually, over the years of my working with my one coach, how much richer the relationship gets and how supported I feel by this incredible woman that I work with. And so that's been incredible.
Yeah, ontological coaching is awesome.
It's the best. And yeah, if you're curious about that, talk to Noelle.
Thank you.
Because she's an incredible coach. Incredible. I think having support in setting up my business has been incredible too, because I'm actually a business coach too, and I do intuitive business coaching, because what I find is that establishing a business in the healing arts is actually one of the fastest ways to grow spiritually, because it will bring everything up. As you know, there is nowhere to hide, because you can't, you just can't hide there if you are being supported in that. Because you start to see that, if it's doing something you love, you can't get clients unless you are totally clear on who you are and what you're up to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, and there's so many other pieces, but in friendship, I think has been a really important piece, like having community and having community around me who isn't going to say, oh, it's okay, you don't have to get out of bed today. But is going to say, oh, like, can you get out of bed? Would you like to get out of bed? Can I help you to get out of bed? Because those are different questions, right? There's like, even though maybe sometimes they sound a little bit the same, they're actually very different.
And that's actually something that comes up a lot, in the Spoonie Superstars Facebook group, and when I'm working with my clients, is how do we build that community that's going to say, can you get out of bed? Mm-hmm. So do you have any advice or thoughts on that for folks?
I would say go ask people to do that for you, very explicitly, say, hey, there are going to be days when I don't get out of bed. I want you to ask me these 3 questions when that's the case. And I will text you when I'm not getting out of bed, and I want you to respond with these 3 questions. Pretty please. And maybe you have 3 different people who are willing to do that with you, so in case the first person's busy. But just because that way you ask very clearly what it is that you want for what you want. Like there's no benefit to sort of sugarcoating or trying to like get people to ask what you want them to ask without asking, right? It was like we play these games and we make things sort of like subtle, and we don't get entirely clear about what the support is that we want. And I think the best way to build a resilient community is to say, I am totally willing to have my ass kicked, and I'm totally willing to rest when it's time to rest. Mm-hmm. Even if it's like the most uncomfortable thing is to like go lie down because I feel like shit and I need to. Because sometimes that's the case, I think. Mm-hmm.
So ask for it, be really clear about what you're asking for.
Mm-hmm. And like sort of rinse and repeat and keep doing it.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Well, I definitely have some more questions, but I want to put it back out to the folks that are joining us live here. Do you have questions for Heather, or is there something else that you'd like support on, since we have this special opportunity to have her live here? Oh, Rachel says, do you have any best practices on cultivating a sense of openness, trust, and play in your life?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. And I'm just going to tap into you a little bit, Rachel, just to sort of make it more specific. I guess I'm curious, and like everyone can answer this for themselves, and I'd love to hear from Rachel, like what stops you? If you have a sense of like, you're about to like, or maybe you feel that sense of openness, trust, and play, and then what's the roadblock? What stops you at that point? What gets in your way? What comes up? But really, I think the best practice is, and just let me know when she answers that, Noelle. But I would say the best practices are just to actually like go do whatever you want to do, which sounds simple in a way. And I'm not saying go do like on like a superficial level what you want to do. I'm saying on a deeper level, like what is it that you really want to cultivate and create for yourself? Right? Like, do you have a vision for writing a book? Like, start writing a book. Like, do you have a vision for so it can be even as simple as like on a scheduling level, like, because we often tend to overbook ourselves in this culture, right? Or like sort of say we can do more than we can do. And so I would say only like give yourself 3 things to do in a day and make them doable, and then do them. And then you get to feel like successful, and then go celebrate and give yourself the space to like go play once you've done the like 2 to 3 things that you need to do or want to do that day, rather than giving yourself a list of like 200 things and then feeling like you're always behind. Because the only way actually to catch up, the only way to actually catch up is to just stay steady with it, to stay consistent. Like the manic depressive habits of our getting stuff done don't actually work. Like we don't get anywhere when we do 20 things and then we crash the next day. So that's one way to start, is just give yourself a smaller quantity of things. And then I hear, Rachel, that like it's the I can't and the I'm not worthy. Yeah. So
she also says there isn't enough time and lots of anxiety related to some trauma.
Mm-hmm. So how old were you? And you can ask yourself this, like, how old were you when the like, without thinking, like, how old were you when I can't started to come online? Or like, yeah, you can't. And just ask yourself that, great. And then ask yourself when you hear that number, maybe 4, 5, 6, somewhere around there is my guess. What is that kiddo inside you needing? What is it that she's really wanting to experience? And it's going to be something simple like love or trust or connection. Right, good. And then see if you can just give that to her. Like I'm kind of putting you in the space of being in love and trust and connection. And just notice like your mind might kind of want to pull out or go to some other place because there's this new energy coming in, but invite yourself back into your body and just to be here and holding space for love and trust and connection. Good. And then like just bring this little girl along as you're going through your day and your life. And that's really crucial. You know, like letting her know that you've got her and that you're not going anywhere. Because we can't let, like, you know, there's no benefit to letting a 5-year-old run the show anymore. We know what that's like. And so if we can actually invite ourselves to drop into a deeper place with ourselves, then it'll be super easy to, and with that connection with that little girl, then it'll be super easy to just move through really anything that comes up. Because it's like we have it. We have all the tools and resources we need. She is very, very wise, and you are very, very wise, and so there's nothing that's missing. So you'll be led to whatever resources you need otherwise. And so it's like, you know, it's always the case, and we all do it, like where we ask, like, how do I play? And so, you know, and we can always, you know, just so play, right? Is this the simple answer? And how do I trust myself? And it's like, trust yourself. You know, like you hear an intuitive hit, go with it. See what happens. You want to say something in a room and you're not sure how it's going to land, say it and see what happens. Like you see something going on with your friend, but you're not sure about it, name it. You have this strange impulse to like call off work and go ice skating, do it. Maybe not every day, but because you want to probably still have your job, but like give yourself a little more like space to just try stuff out. Because it's like the prison of our mind that keeps us small. But when we can be just as infinite and as vast as we are, you know, it's beautiful. And I mean, can you feel, I hope everyone in the room can feel like they're more spacious than when we started, like that they're filling up more of the room that they're in. Yeah. I feel it. And I see it in all of you, that like you're actually all taking up more space than you were when we started. And so it's like when we try to argue with this story, I can't, or I'm not worthy, or whatever yours is, I don't deserve it, I'm not good, all those shit stories that we tell ourselves, it doesn't go anywhere, right? Like it just sort of cycles around, spins around, spins around, spins around. And so I invite you to get close to it, like look at it sort of head on. Like, because often those stories sort of feel like they're back here somewhere. So almost like pull it around and put it right in front of you and just look at it and say like, what are you? What are you needing? How old are you? Like, what's going on? And then you can talk to it like it's its age. Like, oh, you got started, habit of I'm not worthy got started when I was 5 and you're needing connection. Okay, great. I will see you and connect to you, and I'm willing to go out and make a phone call and say, hey, person I don't know, or a friend of mine, would you like to go have tea? You know, whatever the thing is that it's wanting, that energy is wanting from you. Does it all make sense? Did I lose everyone? Okay. I think one of the Emily's has a question, I think.
Yeah, can you see it, Heather? Do you want me to read it?
Can you read it? Because I missed it.
When we know where our body patterns / illness come from and what past life traumas and ways of thinking created them, then what? Where does the clarity come from on what is keeping us from healing?
Mm-hmm.
Unworthiness, fear of becoming, protection. I think I see it all and I'm almost ready to release, but how to work on these sticky remnants?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's one piece just to normalize here, which is that we don't change until the discomfort of being where we are is greater than the discomfort of change. We just don't. We're human. Like, and so I would say, like, sit in it is my answer. Like, sit in the like stickiness. I'm not saying like try to like muck around in it and try to just like sit with it. Like, be there across the table from it and say, what do you need from me? Right? Because like insights don't really get us anywhere. Like, it's nice to understand the patterns. It's really useful because that gives us keys about how to unlock it. But it doesn't change it usually. So yeah, sit with it. Talk to it. Say, hey, energy in my back, or energy in my heart, or whatever it is. What are you? What do you need? And then stay with it until you get the answer. And the answer I'm getting for you, Emily, is actually that just like to start to learn how to do your own healing. Because I think it seems like part of the habit is to look outside of yourself for the answer, which, I mean, I get 100%. And so, and I can show you really quickly right now, like kind of how to start that for yourself. And so we're going to do a little self-healing for all of us to sort of close this out, if that sounds good for everybody. Awesome. So I just invite you, if you want to close your eyes or soften your gaze, however you like to focus your attention. I'll probably leave my eyes open. Doesn't matter. But whatever gives you more focus, great. And then, you know, you can use my heart to track, or you can just and feel the love that I'm sending to your heart. Just let that, yeah, like open your heart up. Nice. And if you need, like, you know, put one hand on your heart just to remind you that that's where this is coming from. And like one hand on your belly for just a moment to like drop yourself all the way down into your body. It feels really nice. And then keeping that going, putting your hands together in front of you and just inviting that energy to run through your arms. Gently. You just don't have to force anything. It can be really easy. Really, really easy. Right, like it's an invitation. Yeah, there you go. That's nicer. Just like softening and opening to it. Just letting whatever like fear or worry or doubts in the space to clear. Telling that little one inside you, like, we've got this. We're okay. Got this. And just see what happens. Nice. And then placing your hands really anywhere on your body that you're wanting a little support. And breathing. And just know that you can, spend the rest of your evening like this if you want, as long as you want. And just inviting yourself to do this every day, really. If you have a minute sitting somewhere waiting, you can run some energy through your hands and start running energy through your body. Because you're your best healer. And really throughout all of this whole call, that anything that you experienced was really you doing the work and me opening space for it. Like, I'm a very lazy healer. Yeah, holding your hands if you want, or, sort of thanking yourself for the time and then closing if you're ready. But just know that you can do that anytime. Anytime.
Heather, thank you so much for sharing your magic with us.
Oh, that was so fun. That was super fun. Thanks for coming to the call, y'all. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, get on my website. You can message me on Facebook. You can find me at Heather Mist Smith or Mist Smith. This is my face. You'll see it there. Or you can go to my website, loveandnow.com. If you have any questions about what you experienced or anything, please be in touch. I mean, I'm not going to try to pose you for a session or whatever. If you just want to ask me a question about what you experienced or what happened, feel free, just be in touch. I love to just connect with people and share about this stuff because it's my passion. Yeah, any last minute thoughts, questions, ideas, anything anyone wants to share? I'm really grateful for this experience. Thank you so much, Noelle, for organizing it and keeping on, even though the form changed.
My joy. And just for folks that are watching now or will be watching later, we'll be back next week at the same time, 7:30 Eastern, with a yoga therapist, Alex Bauermeister, and she'll be sharing how she supports people with chronic illness, mental illness, chronic pain, in transforming their relationship with their bodies and their minds. So happy healing to everyone, and wish you all a wonderful night. Thank you so much. Take good care.